doubt about that. They've been getting better throughout the year. He's got a very deep team, as he usually does, and there's really not much drop-off when he goes to the bench. And with that being said, you have to play an excellent game. You know, the margin for error for us is going to be slim as it is, and when you're playing against a team that's that physical, that aggressive, has that many guys with that kind of quickness, and they can score the way they can, it makes it even smaller for us. But we did not do a very good job throughout this game of taking away what we felt their strengths were. We did not. As I try to tell these guys, they're really good, but there's certain things we got to make sure we're doing. They're going to drive it right. They're going to score over their left shoulder. They're going to drive it right, and that doesn't, you know, they shoot the ball. We wanted to do a good job there. But we just gave them too much room. We gave them too much room in the paint. And we let our guard down a little bit on Higgins after he made the three, and we're like, so what? He made a three. Let's keep him out of the paint. That's where he creates the problems. He creates the problems in the paint where he scores and when he kicks it out because you start chasing the ball. But and we didn't rebound it as well. You have to match not only their aggressiveness, you have to match their physicality, and that's easier said than done. And we're just not there right now. But offensively, we let our lack of shooting affect us on the defensive end zone. And we missed a lot of open shots. I think we were our four main guards were 5 of 27 from the field. We're 4 of 27 from the three. And that's going to happen, okay? But that doesn't mean that it can stifle you on the defensive end. And we let it affect us. Our transition defense, a couple of just turnovers that make no sense. But we coach confidence, right? We're coaching confidence of shooting the ball. We're coaching confidence of taking the next shot. We spend a lot of time shooting the ball. There's absolutely no reason not to believe that your shots aren't going to fall. Okay, so you have to make up for it and keep going defensively. You have to keep guarding. You've got to keep stringing stops together. We've got to keep rebounding. And we'll get movement on the offensive end. We not only didn't make the shots, but early on we scored around the bucket, and then we weren't nearly as good at scoring around the rim. Their length started to be a factor for us. So they're really good. We missed a lot of open shots. They'll get better. Yeah, we'll get better, and we have to. But the bottom line is, outside of anything basketball-wise, our maturity and mental toughness has got to pick up when things are not going well for us. And I know we don't have a lot of guys that have been through a lot of battles where they were the guy or where they were expected to be the guys that carry the team, but that's not an excuse. Now we have to step it up and keep going. It'd be different if I was hammering guys and pulling guys out left and right because we're missing shots. I'm not doing that. But I'm going to have to start doing it if we're not going to guard better on the defensive end. And I'm going to have to make an adjustment to what we're doing to start of the second half because, again, we come out there in the start of the second half and I don't want to say we're listless, but we're not nearly where we need to be aggressiveness-wise. So I got to really dive into that and see if we need to start making some changes in the second half to start. Go ahead.
Coach, how frustrating, or was it frustrating to see Ashton Higgins so close to being here, doing what he was doing?
He wasn't close to me. No, he's a great player. But I mean, no, because I wasn't here. You know, we made one visit. He never came to Georgia. It'd been different if I felt like that because we'd recruited him for years. So no, he's a really good player in a league full of good players. He's an outstanding freshman. But we'll get our breakthrough. You know, we'll find our breakthrough Georgia guy. You know, to my knowledge, I don't think E.J. Montgomery ever visited Georgia. I don't think he'd ever been to the campus, and we never could get him up, and that was a short time there. It is what it is. We'll find some guys in the state that want to come and dip their toe in the water and say, you know what, I can do great things here, and we'll get this thing built to the point where they'll know they don't have to go anywhere else to do it. I mean, he made his choice. That's fine. You know, I've only thought about him when we're getting ready to play against him, to be honest with you. So I don't look at it that way. You know, others that might have been involved, you know, watching the pursuit of his recruitment might feel that way, but I don't. And he's a good player that we didn't do a good enough job on.
Derek came out of the locker room hot at the beginning of the game, and Georgia had 5 dunks within the first 2 minutes. What do you think made it fall off from there? What do you think made the team lose momentum? We tried to make some plays that weren't there. He didn't roll quite as hard a couple times as he could have.
we got him the ball in the post and he got tentative with it, you know. And I think that's part of it a little bit. You know, they clamped down a little bit. They tightened it up a little bit. And we wanted to make sure we had good movement, not only with our bigs around the rim, but being able to space out. But we'll have to watch the film to see that because we were dunking the ball early on. But when we throw Derek the ball, he needs to score or get fouled. He doesn't need to sit there and have like an hourglass going right there where the time is wasted. I'm serious. I'm telling him the same thing. I tell him that every day. We're throwing you the ball for a reason. Don't stand there and wait. Cut. Rip it open. Drive it. Go score. And that's when the length starts to take over. Or he rushes. You know, we work on those things. He's got to get better. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't think that he could.
Coach, when you talk about fixing things up, start second halves better, does that consist of maybe lineup changes?
I think maybe so. I think we're going to have to look at that. Yeah, I mean, there's not a, we don't have a fire and brimstone type guy that just, like they rally around. We don't have that. We got a lot of really good guys. They're playing hard, but you got to have somebody that's going to be the leader and put it together. And we don't have that. I mean, you guys see that. I mean, I'm not making an excuse for it. We're trying to work around it. It's like we don't have a pure point guard. We're trying to work around it, right? And that's what we're trying to do. But we've had a couple of halves where we didn't come out to start the second half with the same level of energy that we need to have. And it starts on the defensive end. Now, I say that, and last week against Vanderbilt, we did just fine, right? I mean, I'll take a look at it. I'm kind of giving you my stream of consciousness here that I look at that and say that could be something that we've got to adjust. But we were in a 2-point game. We got to come up with a little more fire on that than that.
What are you seeing in the eyes of your players when it comes to shooting? Is it confidence? Is it hesitation? Is it more technique?
There's a little technique with the step in, rushing, right? But I think that would be it, rushing. When the length is there, and they got a length team. I mean, you see Tyler Hero, and you're like, he's a long kid. Ashton's long. Keldon Johnson is certainly long. They close gaps pretty good. That's why he recruits them. That's why they're ranked as high as they are. That's why they go there, and so they make up for it. But a little bit of rushing, and I think you rush when you're not as confident that it's going to go down. You rush, maybe not get quite the step in or quite the follow through that you have to have, but. A lot of those same shots went down in the second half of Vanderbilt, and they certainly went down at Auburn. I mean, we made 11 threes at Auburn. I thought we should have made 7, 8 more that were wide open, right? And we're just not there yet. But, I mean, every once in a while I got to remember this team was 326 out of 351 when it came to three-point percentage a year ago. We don't coach them like that. We spent a lot of time building our threes. And if I thought they were taking bad ones, I would pull them out for it. We wouldn't do that. But those are, if you're going to coach guys to be confident, you got to let them take those shots. But they need to go down, right? And if you don't go down, you got to trust that they're going to go down and go back down on the other end and get a stop defensively.
Tom Higgins was coming on the last few weeks in terms of his game. Why was he so effective tonight, especially in the second half?
He's strong. He's strong. He got us off balance a couple of times. We were going under him. We weren't really worried about his range. We wanted to be under it. If he made a three, so be it, and he made one. Our job was the biggest thing with him, because he's in the ball screen and the ball's in his hands so much, is we didn't want to get loose on their big men. When you get loose on their big men, there's that much more going on at the rim with their rebounding. And we didn't do nearly a good enough job with the glass of being physical and aggressive. Not even close. But I think he just got in the lane a couple times, relaxed on his right hand. He hit that three, and it spooked these guys a little bit. No, we're sticking with the game plan. We're still going under. All right, we're more worried about Tyler Hero shooting threes or Keldon Johnson or Emmanuel Quickly shooting threes. Higgins develops his three-point shot. God bless him. Good for him. But right now, we weren't as worried about that. And I think that's what it was. But going back to what I said at the beginning, he got us off balance a little bit. And any good downhill guard that's got strength and has got that effect, he's an outstanding player. When they see that shoulder open up and they see that ability to go, they're gone. And that becomes a problem. And that's why I said at the beginning, we're not tough enough on the ball. And we're not doing a good enough job of controlling what we can control. That doesn't mean we're going to stop guys, but we got to do a better job of getting on what we practice, which is taking away some of their strengths. And a kid like that, it's his right hand.
Coach, follow up on what you said about Hutch Gorger. Can get that guy, get that upper echelon type of prospect. And from this game, do you use the sellout atmosphere, the environment.
Sure,
was there
absolutely.
as kind of a tool there, or can you not just because it was?
No, absolutely, that's part of it. I mean, no question about it. I mean, and that's what people want to see. I mean, we've got to be able to show that everything you could possibly want is here. The education, the school, the life after basketball. You know, it's all here. I've said that from the very beginning, and we just got to get a couple people that are willing to take that. Say, yeah, you know what, I believe it. And then come help us turn it as we move down the line. So it's, I haven't found, you know, we don't have a pool in Stegman Coliseum, right? So like that, we don't have a pool where we can go and do some training there. I could probably find a couple other things that might make a difference. But other than that, everything is here. Everything you could possibly want is at this school. We just need to recruit it and get a couple people that say, you know what, I want to make Georgia basketball something that I help impact. And we will. It'll come.
Coach, what's your take on Kentucky's team at this point in the season? Is it similar to some of John's other teams? Or?
Oh, you know, I'd have to really think about that. This one's, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They're good. I mean, this is one of his better shooting teams, I would say. It's so different, man. Like the pace of the game now is different, right? When he's not running that downhill dribble drive offense as much. So they're much more screen oriented. They're much more, and he's got a guy like Tyler Hero that can read screens extremely well. So they're in the half court a lot, and I think that's going to probably help them as they go down the line. The running game is solid, but they're in that half court offense a lot, and probably for good reason, because he's got guys that can make shots, and he's got a bunch of guys that not only can score. I think the way P.J. Washington's continued to improve has made a big difference for them, and so that's my initial thoughts off the top of my head.
Coach, you talked a little bit about on-ball defense, but looking at points in the paint, I think they had like 40 plus. Off-ball defense, you know, backside, help side defense, and just spacing. Well, how would you assess, you know, that?
I'm gonna have to watch the film on that. Yeah, I mean, I'm more concerned right now about seeing some blockouts that we didn't get on the backside. And I'll tell you, we didn't take close to advantage of what we had on the backside. And that was one of the things that we made a real point at halftime, is to get some cuts off that backside in the slot. And that's why we started to try to post it a little bit more. But we just didn't do a great job of that. But again, we make some shots and we make them early. It's a whole different game, and all of a sudden it's not the lead that they had in the second half. We didn't do that. So there's a lot of hypotheticals with that, and they capitalized. When we were missing shots, they capitalized.
There seemed to be quite a few times when a Georgia player completely just, the ball fell out of their hands, and I think Kentucky had 14 points on turnovers. Is that something that y'all have talked about, have worked on in practice?
Well, we don't want the ball to fall out of their hands,
Right.
I can promise you that.
Right.
So I'll have to watch that. I don't know. I thought there were a couple times we didn't look at our target, and they shot the gap on that. You know, I think that was, there were a couple of those for sure, where we threw the ball and we didn't see them knifing through. And that was something that, we had a couple seniors do that. You know, it's a joke, right? I mean, you get in this position right now, it's your senior year at Georgia, you can't make those passes. You got to, but the fumbling and things like that, I don't know. We're focused on two-hand catches, two-hand passes as much as possible, unless we're throwing a roll pass or a pocket pass to the post. So I'll have to look at it.
Coach, maybe a tough question, but with 6 seniors and you talking about maturity and toughness, I mean, those things don't jive. What can you do? What can the team do at this stage to improve in that area? I mean, is it a matter of harder work, or is it a matter of
No, they work hard. Oh no, I don't have, and as I told them in the locker room, their last couple of days of practice and the way they competed and zeroed in on this, that did not lose this game. I mean, they did a very good job. There was no question we were ready to play, and they were locked in. There's no question about that. I think we just got to keep coaching it, Mike. I mean, I think it's the bottom line is you don't. It doesn't change overnight. It'll be 10 months, you know, today or tomorrow that I've been here. It does. You just got to stay with it, right? You don't. You find different ways to try to motivate, but you just keep practicing the way that you're practicing. You show them on film, and you help build up their, you know, self-confidence, self-esteem, you know, whatever you talk. And again, this is a demanding atmosphere, but this is also a very uplifting, you can do this, build your confidence type of situation too. And the moment that goes away is when a guy doesn't have the right attitude or he doesn't spend extra time working on his game. And right now I haven't seen any of that. You know, and now I'm a lot less patient when a guy's not a competitive guy in practice, or the game doesn't mean something to him when it comes to doing extra. You know, we don't legislate extra, but the bottom line, you can tell. I mean, you know when guys are getting better. I think it's really, really important that we do not lose sight with all these games, that we continue to stay true to the fact that we've got to continue to work on our self-improvement in there, our skill development, not only game planning and scheming or whatever way you want to look at it, but really staying true to keep building our skills. And hopefully that'll continue to help us.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.